Well, hello. Um, welcome sports movie fans to another edition of March Movie Analysis. I'm your host, Gladys Torkelson. Once again, thank you for tuning into yet another Work From Home Tuesday. I'd first like to apologize for the multitude of errors in my last analysis segment. As you know, last week was the first week where we at Studio 81 introduced graphics into our segment, and I clearly could have used a bit more practice. We'll give our graphics segment another try tonight, and hopefully with more success. Thanks to all you very forgiving fans for your continued love and support. Next, another note. Although there were no tiebreaker situations again in our Elite Eight, we know that Claude Hovenstack has gathered quite the following of dedicated groupies. So therefore, Studio 81 is working to provide more Claude content for you. In the next day or so, we'll have some exclusive Studio 81 footage where Claude shows off some of the stellar coin toss moves he learned at the Ivy League Vern Shegeby Coin Toss Academy. That's right, folks. It's going to be very exciting, so make sure you stay tuned once again for more Claude. All right, let's dive into the updates from the Elite Eight. The Sandlot and Cool Runnings was a tight matchup between two lovable underdogs. Between two lovable underdogs. 1 second, folks. Just need to make sure that I get my graphics segment ready to go. Just 1 second. Okay, between two lovable underdogs. Those scrappy kids eventually eked out a victory, though over everyone's favorite bobsled team, by only 4 votes. So look at this one, folks. That indeed was a tight one. Sandlot with 56% of the votes and Cool Runnings with 44% of the votes. Going now to our football matchup, remember the Titans versus Rudy. Once again, the Titans got the W and stamped their ticket to the Final Four, but not after a somewhat tense series of plays in the third quarter. We can't wait to see what the Fighting Irish do in their off-season. Great game, Rudy. Those Rockford Peaches kept it rockin' with their strong win against Jimmy Chipwood and company, sealing the deal by 12 votes. And winning with 69% of the votes. And finally, the Mighty Ducks absolutely crushed Jordan Bugs and the rest of those Looney Tunes. Not even close, folks. The Ducks won with 81% of the vote, with Space Jam only garnering a total of 6 votes. They looked shaky throughout the tourney, but even this blowout surprised most analysts. Let's take a look at our upcoming Final Four head-to-heads and trace their path through the tourney. First, Final Four. First, we have Remember the Titans versus the Mighty Ducks. Remember the Titans versus the Mighty Ducks. Let's take a look. Let's start by taking a look at Remember the Titans. The Titans started out with a really strong win over Slapshot with 94% of the vote, and then just barely edged out their competitors from there on out. The Mighty Ducks, however, have maintained strong leads over their opponents. Especially, let's take a look at round 1. They beat Iron Will by 97%. If I remember correctly, Iron Will only received 1 vote. And I think that was you, Marcos. No wonder you're losing in the bracket, if you know what I mean. Sorry to pick on you, Marcos. Okay, so let's see. The Mighty Ducks, they maintained strong leads over all their opponents, although they did struggle, just barely edging out Happy Gilmore. Which of these teams has it in them to advance to the championship game? Only time will tell. And for our baseball Final Four matchup, A League of Their Own versus the Sandlot. The Sandlot Scrappers have had quite the consistent performance throughout the tournament. Especially in the first 3 rounds, but they just barely, as we discussed earlier, they just barely edged out the Jamaican bobsled team. Maybe that was the test they needed to face a dominant League of Their Own team. Look at these numbers that the League of Their Own have posted. The Peaches' toughest matchup was against the Hoosiers, here again in the last round, but overall they have shown strength, consistency, and grit throughout all of their performances. We'll see if these ragamuffins have what it takes to defeat these badass babes. A quick look at the bracket pool standings. Nate Choder's lead shrunk significantly this last round, and he is now only leading the pack by a mere 6 points. McKenna is breathing down his neck in second place. Metaphorically, of course. We are still in social distancing mode here. Max and the commissioner, Alex, are jockeying for third place, with Max ahead by just 1 point. The rest of the pack is far behind these top 4. Now, let's take a closer look at the commissioner's score. She had an absolute killer round, snagging 103 points in the Elite 8 alone. Although McKenna, Nick, and Nate Choder all had great showings, this big jump in points leaves some wondering about the ethics of the commissioner's participation in the bracket pool. Is she privy to insider knowledge? Is she perhaps editing the data sheets so brilliantly and meticulously crafted by brainiac Lane Wise? I'm sure I won't be the only one who raises eyebrows at this large jump in the standings. And I wonder if the NCAA will eventually open any investigations. If that happens, you're sure to hear about it from us at Studio 81, where we bring you nothing but the honest truth. And finally, let's take a look at some of the standouts from fan mail. Studio 81 is killing the quarantine. Thanks so much. Hope we can bring a little bit to brighten your day every couple of days. I think Claude could be a great star in a luge movie with his goggles. Well, I quite agree, and as we'll see in the next couple days or so, Claude is quite athletic. Let's see what we can do to get him down that track, huh? Why doesn't Claude ever come prepared with a coin? Can't say that on the air, FCC rules. That's a great question. Although Claude and his skills are matched, his coin tossing skills are just, no one can match them. He is a little bit forgetful sometimes, which is why he needs help from his friends. Hey Gladys, what's your status? Are you and Claude an item? Signed, single and ready to mingle. Oh, well, that's nice of you to take a little notice of little old Gladys. As for me and Claude, well, I don't really want to get into it here on the air in my personal life, but let's just say, love's a brewing over here at Studio 81. Okay. And finally, I forget the timing for the next ballot. How much time do I have to watch all Final Four movies in full? That is an excellent question. Final Four ballots are in your inboxes and are due this Thursday at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now would be a great time to revisit all the movies if you feel like it. So get those VCRs rolling, folks. Once again, keep an eye out in the next day or so for more Claude content brought to you exclusively by Studio 81. But for now, From myself, Dr. Hermit Shemke, Claude, and the rest of us at Studio 81, I bid you adieu. Stay healthy out there, folks.